Hey guys, I'm Nathan from All Things Headrush, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to build your first rig. So what we have here on the screen is a blank rig, and we have 11 blocks to work with. And the first thing you need to do is just take your finger and tap on a block. And now we are presented with your amps, cabs, distortions, dynamics, modulations, reverbs and delays, effects loop, and expression pedals. So there's a lot we can do within a rig. But the thing I want you to do right now is try to take your current analog setup, maybe you have a tube amp and some pedals, and try to recreate that first, and then you can dive into other setups. So for me, I want to add a Fender Deluxe Reverb. And this is the 64 Black Lux Normal, and we have a Black Lux Vibe. I'm going to do the Vibe portion, and then I'm going to delete that cab just by sliding it out and deleting it. I'm going to add my own cab in, which is the 1x12 Black Lux. And this is becoming my favorite cab of all of them, just because I think it sounds very natural and the EQ, it just sits right to my ears. So this is what we have so far. So depending on the sound, you can go in and you can tweak that. So just by double tapping on the block, we can bring our volume down. And you can just move your finger up and down these sliders right here. So maybe we want to bring down some bass, bring up some treble, bring the volume down a little bit. And now we have a slightly cleaner sound that's going to work good for a pedal platform. And I can add dirt with overdrive pedals and boost and all that kind of stuff. So you can also use the double arrows to go to the next page and adjust even more parameters. Now for the cab, we have a lot of different microphone options, and it's typical to have a SM57 on a speaker cab, whether you're playing live or in the studio, but you do have the options for condenser microphones, such as the 67 and the 87 from Neumann, and we have the AKG 414, which is very, very popular, and a Royer 121 microphone, which is a very warm ribbon mic that has a little bit more low end and rolls off the high end. And then we have a Dyne 7, which is your SM7B microphone, which if you've noticed here lately, a lot of big time arena players are using SM7Bs on their cabs, such as John Mayer and a lot of others. So I'm actually going to go in and choose the Royer 121 for this one. And we do have the option to have it on or off axis. So depending on the sound that you want, you can go in and dial that in. But we're going to go now to our output. And if you want to hear things louder, you don't need to go crank your amp. You just need to bring your output level up a little bit more. So we're going to check our green LEDs here. And I prefer to have mine just below the 0 mark, so that way I know I have plenty of signal going out, and then I don't have to move my master knob anywhere past 7 or 8. So that way I'm sending a nice healthy signal to the front of house or my recording interface, but I'm not trying to send too much signal. So this is just a way to be very consistent from rig to rig. So we're going to use my finger here and just bring the volume up. And you can see from there I got into the yellow a little bit. So let's bring that back down. You can also use the large encoder knob to turn the parameter up and down as well. So the key here is to find the tone first and then raise the volume later. Okay, let's go ahead and add in a reverb. And for this, we're going to add in a classic spring reverb and just make it a default mono. And you can double tap on the block and we can go in and change the tone, the decay, the mix, diffusion on and off, tails on and off, which I always suggest to have the tails on. So that way when you bypass the effect, you still hear the spillover of that effect. And then we can also change the width as well. So it's just a good all-around reverb. We can darken it up by bringing the tone down, bringing the mix of that down. Now, if you're more into surf rock, you can easily bring that mix up. But for my taste, I'm going to bring the mix down. And then let's go ahead and add some compression. And there's the dynamics, dyne comp. I have my own preset made called dot comp. And I'll show you how to make a preset here in a second. So double tap on the block. And I actually have my threshold all the way down just by moving your finger. So the threshold is at -60. The attack can be anywhere from 8 to 10 milliseconds. The gain anywhere from 4 to 6 dB. But the ratio is where the magic is here. So I'm going to bring the ratio all the way down. And then just start bringing it back up till I start hearing the compression. Use my encoder knob. So even at 1 to 1, it starts compressing. 1 to 2 is even more. 1 to 3. 1 to 4. So depending on how squashed you want your sound to be, you can really just dial that in with the ratio and then bring up the gain to compensate for any loss in volume. And then we can go back and we can bypass the block just by tapping on the little foot switch. So we didn't lose any volume because I compensated with the gain, but we are getting a little bit more compression. So that's good. So just to reiterate, to save a preset, when you're in the edit screen, you can hit save. Then it says save new preset. Now when you name it, you can always access that from your drop-down list when you add the block. So it makes it very convenient, and you can also see you got presets right here, which you can choose all the other stock presets and any custom presets that you've made. And let's go in and add an overdrive. There's really all kinds, but I like to use the tube screamer and make it green, have the drive all the way down, tone in the middle, level all the way up. And this is what we have. So for most people, that's going to be enough. You have a clean amp, a little bit of overdrive, a little bit of reverb, and now maybe you want to go in and add some delay. So let's do a tape echo and make it default. We can double tap on there, and we can either change it in milliseconds or we can turn the sync on and have it set to be a subdivision. So we got quarter notes, dotted eighths, all that kind of stuff. So a dotted eighth is going to be your 3/16. So it'll be sound like this. And we might want to go in and add a tap tempo to that. So now let's go into our hardware assign and rearrange what's assigned to our buttons. So go to the ... up on the top, press hardware assign. And now we're going to tap on the block here, and we have all these options that we can assign. So we're going to tap on tempo and then tap. Now you see we have our tap tempo on our third switch over here. We can now tap on the cab block, and we don't need anything assigned to that. But maybe we want our tape echo to be on or off. Then we want our amp to have the green JRC. We can go back. We can now hit save, save new rig, GLX dock, and this can be anything you want. And now we have our main sounds we can access right here from our switches. Alright guys, so this is the foundations of building a rig. As we go along on this channel, we can build so many more rigs and all kinds of cool sounds. So be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell. And until next time, I'm Nathan from All Things Headrush, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.